music therapy, for those who may or may not know, it is the clinical and evidence-based use of music interventions to accomplish individualized goals within a therapeutic relationship. And the idea is to meet the individuals where they're at, regardless of background, religious orientation, and skill set, and be able to build individualized goals and objectives from there, utilizing what they already have and can bring into the sessions that can therefore give them new skills to carry over into everyday life.
So it doesn't sound like a cookie cutter at all.
No, it is, think more pottery, clay. It's malleable. You get to create your own piece. The type of clay you use is going to be different based off the individual. And I think that's just one of the many beautiful aspects of it. Within, say, standard talk therapy, there's kind of a cut and dry format. But with music therapy, not only do you have the addition of music adding that extra layer of support, kind of takes the pressure off. Am I saying the right thing? Do I have to say I'm feeling this thing this specific way? And again, just meeting that person where they're at, not trying to change or detract from their uniqueness, but instead celebrate it and support it and carry it forward.
When you say, because I'm curious, when you say, initially right in the beginning where they are at, how do you determine that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's various forms of assessments that you do. Pre-assessments usually look like physical abilities, musical abilities. They're not required, but we do like to know, oh, this person took piano lessons from the ages of 4 to 10, or this person hasn't touched an instrument at all.
So then again, it sounds like you really cater it to the individual to bring them out versus, okay, you're either part A, part B, part C. That's the 3 options.
Group settings versus individual sessions, there will kind of be an umbrella. So the overall goal of the group would be socialization, turn taking, and physical movement, let's say. But then from there, I filter it down further and I think, oh, well, Ed here, we really need him to say the name of 3 people. Well, Martha really just needs to move her legs today. And so then from there, the overall, and filter it down, and you try to make then those opportunities and moments for that to happen within the group.
In the group setting, do you find sometimes that there's a synergy with that?
Yes, there is something called the ISO principle that various therapists like to practice out of. And what that means is when you come into a group, whatever their energy level is, high, medium, low, organized, sleepy, quiet, we meet them there to start with. So-and-so will say, oh, hey, may I use the maracas? Oh, of course, and they'll trade. Or, oh, I like your sneakers today. Things like that, and then I'll build off of it to expand more and create more opportunities for the interaction, for the movement, based off of where they're at and where they're going.
And I would think if they're saying that, like, hey, I like your sneakers, then that means they're safe. They feel safe to be able to say that, so you're building from a safe place. Well, that makes sense, because if somebody is already passive and nervous and a little withdrawn, putting in a scenario where this person's saying all this stuff could put even more pressure on them. You have empathy, but also very sensitive to nonverbal cues and verbal cues, sounds like.
Yeah, the way I like to word it is you have to be very on. You really have to walk into a session, group or individual, and leave your stuff at the door. And be able to be present and truly engage, because I've seen colleagues before in my internship, they'll go and say, oh, good morning, so-and-so, your hat looks great. And that client will look them dead in the eyes like, you don't mean that. So they're very intuitive. They will call you out, some populations more so than others, and they have awareness just as much as you and I have awareness. Their demonstration of it just may be different.
Especially if somebody comes back and says, "Oh, you don't really mean that." Especially if it's true. Now you just lost credibility. Kids are a lot sharper than people think sometimes.
100%.
Part of the services or a benefit is, it seems like you can help clients process maybe or deal with different emotions.
My internship and working in more hospice care, you're also able to work and partner and process with family members. And that's huge because not a lot of the time are you able to sit with someone who's actively dying and sing songs from their childhood or sing songs that they sang with their child, and their child is sitting right there and can give input and hold their loved one's hand and say, oh, we used to sing this song in the summer around the campfire when we would travel and go to XYZ place. And I really love that. Again, it's not only the individual, but then within this kind of stage of life, you can incorporate the family. And I had never experienced that before. And it was really such an humbling and honoring and sacred space to be in, specifically when someone's in that final steps to transition from this life to the next, whatever that you believe that looks like. And it kind of made me take a step back and think, wow, what other field, what other occupation allows you to do that without the pressure of just sitting there in silence and hearing the beep of the monitor and here comes the nurse to check again, but can create life within that darkness. I had never really thought of it that way. And so to be in it and actually carrying it out was really special. And you process with that individual leading up to the stage where they're not able to really be 100% lucid, and you get to know them so that when that time comes, you have the equipments, you have the information from the family, and you create this culminating experience for everyone. And it's really, really special.
Where a lot of times it's, again, you fit into this box, this box, and if you don't, too bad, which is a tragedy to say the least.
It can be a combination. Okay. So in music therapy, there are various methods. And so things such as receptive methods, and that would be where they're listening, I'm facilitating a lyric analysis, a discussion after. Oh, wow. Or it could be, okay, I have a bunch of ukuleles today, and we're going to work on the following songs. And at the end, I thought it'd be fun if we started to work on our own songwriting. Improvisation on the piano, improvisation with percussion, boom whackers with the kiddos. They really love that. For those who don't know, they look like pool noodles, a light plastic, and they are built-in scales. So they all have a note, and you hit it on the ground, you hit it on your chair, makes the sound of that note. They love it. So it really depends, which is why my background, I have been taking voice lessons since I was 7. I'm a voice primer in college. In my program, I had to audition for my music school as well as the program. And I went to Montclair State University, where I was required to take secondary instrument training in piano, guitar, percussion, even conducting. We take choir as well. It's a rigorous course, but now I have these little pockets of knowledge that when a child walks in and says, oh, I'd like to bring my cello to the next session. Okay. Or, hey, can we pull out djembe? Yes, we can. So that way I'm, again, able to meet them where they're at. Sometimes we do things with just shakers, things that are a little bit more basic, but it really then opens doors for them to be supported not only therapeutically and verbally and with my presence, but also musically.
Yeah, it's just so powerful. Totally got caught off guard by that.